Are you someone who is aiming to the end result, that is, being fluent in English, or you just want to waste your time, money, and effort here and there? If your answer is yes to my first question, then watch this video. Hi guys, welcome back to our channel Fluent English 1-to-1. I am Purnima. Let me remind you once again that I am not a spoken English trainer. I consider myself as a lifelong learner of spoken English. I am building Fluent English 1-to-1. This series is exclusively for the beginner who have just started their journey to acquire this language. This video is about how can you select a right course for you. If your selection is right, it means that you are at right path. There are high chances that you will acquire this language. For this, the very first step is to know what is your fluency level. Are you beginner, intermediate or advanced level? If you do not know how to assess your fluency level, I will give the link of my first video where I have talked about this thing in detail. Having an understanding of your fluency level can be incredibly helpful for you. You can set the realistic goal and then you can plan your journey accordingly. When we talk about realistic goal, what does it mean? For example, you must know why do you want to learn spoken English, how spoken English can be helpful in your life. Do you want to learn spoken English in a casual way, or you know that if you learn this language, if you will acquire this language, it's going to be helpful for your career and further life progression? If the answer is yes, it means that you have to acquire certain level of fluency within certain time frame. Here again, you have to understand the kind of job profile you are handling, the job role. Do you require communicative English, or it involves some kind of pitching or lecture or public speaking? When we talk about communicative English, it's very simple to understand that some kind of conversation is happening. In the conversation, one person is speaking and another is listening. So that's how they're getting time. And this time is helping them to process their thoughts properly and conveying them in English, in another language, that's their second language, right? So acquiring communicative English is much easier than acquiring public speaking in English. When you are starting your journey to acquire a language, you should not aim to become a news reader. Instead, you should aim for having good command over communicative English, and then you can gradually move towards the higher aim. And it will help you when you will succeed in a smaller goal, then definitely you can achieve for the higher one. That will be my advice. Rest is definitely up to you. Now you know what is your objective of learning spoken English, and those ideas are really clear in your brain. So now, what are the courses out there, and which one is suitable for you? How can you train yourself? So whatever information I'm going to share here, it's going to be my suggestion, my advice, and these are my experiences. And my approach is really transparent. You can evaluate yourself. If you find it useful, then you can go ahead. Otherwise, it's okay. I have structured the information in a way that could be very easy to understand and really useful. So I have grouped it into 3 parts. What are they? Self-study, group classes, and one-on-one classes. So we can compare under these heads like the kind of training, pros, cons, and who can opt for. So start with the first option, that is self-study. Self-study is very simple to understand. That person is not going for any kind of institute or taking online offline classes. They are studying by themselves. They might be using some book, or they must have followed some YouTuber and they are learning from there. So what are the benefits? What are the pros in such situation? Very first thing, there is no investment involved. They can learn at their own pace. And whenever they want to learn, they can learn. Whenever they want to stop the video, they can do it. It's very comfortable. It's a comfort zone. And what else? They are getting so many information. Abundance of information is available there. So they can go deep into the topic. Now, what are the cons there? Very first con is they are not getting feedback. They are not prepared for what some person is going to say, what some other person is going to ask from them. They are not prepared for such situation. Another thing is that they might get confused sometime if they are following one person, one YouTuber. If they are following them in blindly, they might confuse them. It is happening and it is not helpful in a long run, because and when you are acquiring a language, it's not a subject, it's a language, and you are teaching something to your mind, subconscious mind, and keeping practice of that, and then you are undoing it. So it doesn't help that way. Now, who can opt for the self-study? I must say, self-study is not for the beginner. You can just imagine this scenario. You want to learn swimming and you are reading about swimming. You are not getting into water, you are not swimming, but just reading about it. Will you be able to learn swimming? You won't be able to. If you agree with this, you will agree with this point that when you are acquiring a language, not as a subject, it's a language, means you are acquiring a language. It's not a subject. You just don't want any marks, you just don't want to crack some kind of exam. You want to acquire this language, you want to convey your own thoughts, you want to learn communicative English. In such situation, you must have such environment where you can get feedback. It's really good that you are upgrading your knowledge, you are going deep into the subject, but more knowledge is not going to help you when you're not applying it. Situation of a beginner is very similar to a kid. How they listen, they repeat, they do mistakes, and they speak again. So similarly, the beginner also need consistent feedback. They can take effort to speak in that language. They might make mistake, but a guide, a trainer will help them, and then they will speak again. It will help them to a beginner to move on to the next level, that is intermediate level, right? If a beginner is doing only self-study and they do not have any environment, they do not have any friend circle where they can apply their knowledge, so it might take time. Exceptions are always there, but they might take time to acquire language. But self-study can be beneficial for a person who is at intermediate level or advanced level. Now they have their basic understanding, they know the language, and now they need to work upon confidence and fluency. In such situation, they can opt for self-study because language acquiring is consistent and gradual process. Let's talk about the group classes. Learning is happening in a group. They are learning from the instructor and they are learning from each other as well. When you go for group classes, you must check these things. First of all, their credibility. You must know about their background and you must check the reviews. And then you can go and discuss in person. They can check that whether they are just teaching grammar or they are do they give chance for speaking as well or not. Do they have structure and very comprehensive approach or not. Even if it is a group class, it should not be very vast number. It should not be a very big group. Otherwise, if it is a very big group, the individual person will not be able to speak. And if you are not able to speak in a language class, so there is no use of taking such classes. Let's talk about the pros. Mostly they are cost effective than the private lessons, than the private tutor, and you stay motivated when you learn in a group because there is energy and you will always feel motivated, and if somewhere you are lagging behind, somebody will help you. What are the cons here? A person will have to commute from their place to the institute and it's a time consuming process. Another thing is that they cannot customize the syllabus. They will have to learn whatever is being taught in that class because it's a group. Okay, less scope of flexibility with time as well. Who can opt for the group classes? If you are the beginner or intermediate level of a student, you can definitely go for group classes, online or offline. You can invest certain months, certain time over there, and that will help you to establish your basics, and gradually you can go for the one-on-one classes. There are many instances when a student having intermediate level of fluency find group classes lesson very easy. The case is same with the advanced level also. They do not find growth over there. Now let's talk about one-on-one or individual classes. It's very simple that there is one student with one trainer or guide. So in such environment, this approach is very customized and the learner can customize the learning. They can ask for what they want to learn, and their objective is very precise. If they want to speed up the learning, they can do it, and if they want to slow it, they can do it. It's very obvious, right? So, and what are the cons here? So it could be the cost could be little higher than the group classes. They will not go very deep into the topic. Instead, they will focus on one subject, what the learner wants to learn. And who can opt for the group classes? Group classes is not for the beginner level of the student, because they need to invest certain time and money to clear their basics, and they will not have an environment where they can interact with other student also. So this is not a very big no for the beginner, but intermediate and advanced level student can go for one-on-one classes. And mostly these people are trying to reach to the next level, and they want to improve their communicative English as well as their professional communication, sometimes public speaking also. So in such scenario, group classes are really helpful. At last, there is no hard and fast rule that you should try this and you should not go for that. It is up to you. You evaluate situation and then decide. At the end of this video, I would like to say that there are so many other videos coming in this series, and let me know, how do you find this video? Do you find it useful? What kind of improvement I should bring? As I told you already, that I consider myself as a lifelong learner, so if I would have made some kind of grammatical errors, just avoid them and try to focus on the message what I am trying to convey. I am creating this series of video where I am talking about the planning strategy, challenges, and how you can overcome those all challenges. And these topics are very less talked about, but they have very practical uses, and because of that I have selected them. If you want us to make more videos, you can let us know. And I'm just sharing that if anybody is interested learning spoken English one-on-one basis, we have our platform called Fluent English 1-to-1. You can register here. If you like our content, please subscribe our channel and like our video. That will support us a lot. Thanks.